Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for joining me this week. We are going to talk about getting into a funk and basically just how to kind of get your spark back. Like no matter what we go through in life, whether we're going through a breakup, a divorce, transitions, changes, just these like blah periods of life, like we've all been in this phase. And so I want to talk about really what are the things that cause us to kind of like fall into these funks. And more importantly, I want to give you some really good tips in order to get out of them. Because again, like I said, this is going to happen to us in life and we have to know how to be able to get out of the rabbit hole. Now, if you're new to my channel, my name is Stephanie. I'm a life and relationship coach. Don't forget to click subscribe down below and click on post notifications. That will inform you every week when I do upload a new video with a brand new topic. We talk all about mental health on this channel. We talk about narcissistic relationships, emotional abuse, self-love, self-parenting, law of attraction, manifestation, motivation, the list goes on and on. So if you're interested in all things mental health related and you enjoy this channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Now, we've all been in funks and sometimes they last days, sometimes they last weeks, months, or sometimes even years. And the important thing is to understand, for me, I need to understand why things are happening. I think it's really important to kind of take a step back and to like see what's really going on in your life and what's caused you to get to this place. And then I think it's important to understand, obviously, how to get yourself out of the rabbit hole. Sometimes the longer we are in these rabbit holes, they can cause things like anxiety, real severe stress, or possibly even depression. And so this funk that we're talking about doesn't necessarily have to be like a couple days. It could be a long period of time. And these tools and tips will help you no matter what it looks like for you. If you've been in a funk for a really long time, or if you feel like you're just kind of starting to like dip into one. It's really important to understand that this is just a moment in time. And I want to kind of like start off by saying that because I think often when we go through these phases of life, especially when we're in a place that doesn't feel natural. This is not how we normally behave and act and feel in life. And it can cause us to feel, very woe is me and that this is going to last forever. And it's not. It's just a season of life. It's just a little bit of turbulence on your ride to the Caribbean, to an island vacation somewhere. Okay, sorry, I'm digressing because I'm in the dead of winter right now with a cold. But it's important to make sure that you always remind yourself that this is a season and this too shall pass, because if we're in these funks, especially for long periods of time, you can start to feel really defeated and like that this is going to stay like this forever, and it's not. If you are going through a transition of any kind, and chances are if you're in a funk, no matter what it is, whether it's days, weeks, months, or years, you are in a transition. And that's what's really bringing on this kind of feeling of blah, unmotivation, don't really feel like you are your normal self, don't really know what to do, kind of feeling like you're in limbo. And let's just be honest, those feelings are not fun. They can be extremely painful at times. And if you don't really even know what's going on, then honestly, you can feel like you're going absolutely crazy because you don't feel like your normal self. Now, if you're an overthinker as well and you're a little bit of an anxious person in general, then guess what? Even more anxiety is going to come, and that can just keep us spiraling and you go down that rabbit hole super fast. So that's why it's very important for us to take a step back. So let's do that now. Take a step back and understand what's really going on underneath the surface here. So there are really three things that cause us to feel like we're in a funk, for us to cause us to kind of just be blah, unmotivated with life and, maybe even a little depressed or whatever, a little anxious. And these are the three things. Number one, you're bored. Number two, you're completely unchallenged in life. And number three, you're lonely or you're missing something, like something's missing from your life. Now, when a lot of people feel any one of those things, and look, you could have heard everything I just said, those three things, and been like, all three of them apply to me, or you could say, nope, it's really just this one thing. But regardless, whether it's one, two, or three of those things, normally when people feel any one of those things, they don't really even acknowledge it. They kind of just like push it down and keep kind of chugging away with life. And eventually, as you keep suppressing how you feel because you're not acknowledging it or working on it or dealing with it, eventually stuff just kind of hits the fan. And then all of a sudden you have like these moments where you feel depressed, moments where you feel anxious, moments where you feel really, really blah, moments where you don't feel like yourself. And this is where we start getting into the rabbit hole. That's why it's so important to understand how you feel and what's going on, beforehand and start tackling that stuff so you don't fall into a rabbit hole. So if you're not acknowledging what's really going on, it's just going to manifest with like stress, anxiety, overthinking, and then you're going to be trapped in this cycle of wondering what's going on, why do I feel this way, and it's a never-ending game. The first thing in handling any kind of like funk, blah, unmotivation, depressive state, anxieties that we're going through because we're kind of like in this transition of life that sometimes we can acknowledge that we're going through and other times we don't even know that we're going through it, is to just not shame yourself. I think when we start to ignore how we feel, or when we start to even acknowledge how we feel and we immediately make ourselves feel bad for that we shouldn't feel that way, all it does is bring on more stress, depressive episodes, anxieties, unmotivation, blah feelings, and it will never get you to where you want to be. People that can even say, hey, I'm in this place and it stinks and I don't want to be here and it's kind of painful, are the people that like honestly really care. They're achievers. They want to have a great life. They want to get better. They are not victims. And so if you ring true and that feels like, yep, that's me too, I don't want to be here, then it's just a matter of you being good to yourself and nice to yourself and kind to yourself and stop judging yourself for how you feel. That will help you to give yourself the validation that you need in order to feel the support that you need to feel. So when we are struggling in life, one of the things that we look to our friends and family and coaches and therapists to give us, whether you know this or not, is validation. You get on the phone, you talk to someone, and you want someone to tell you that everything's going to be okay. You want someone to tell you that you're not crazy. You want someone to tell you that this is normal, that you feel this way based on what it is that you're going through. And it gives you a sense of comfort that what you are feeling is perfectly normal. Now, isn't it funny that when we talk to friends, family, whoever, and we don't get that type of support from them, those are usually the people that we don't want to talk to. So the same really rings true for you. If you're the person that when you try to confide in yourself and actually admit how you feel, if the first thing that comes up is shame, guilt, embarrassment, etc., then you're not going to want to confide in yourself on what it is that you're going through or how it is that you're feeling. This is not about pushing yourself so quickly out of funks, but it is learning how to be gentle and kind to yourself while you are going through them, because being able to validate, soothe yourself, and love yourself and just be gentle will actually help you to want to work harder. When you are not a good friend to yourself, when you're not a good person to yourself, when you constantly feel like something's wrong with you or you're going to stay here forever because you're feeding that story constantly, then it doesn't make you want to get out of bed and work harder. The part that's really uncomfortable, and I totally get it, and we've all been there, is you don't want to be in this place. You want to be somewhere else, and you can kind of like hopefully see the light at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully you do logically understand that like you're not going to be here forever. Like there's never going to be every single day for the rest of your life you're going to see clouds. Eventually the sun comes out. It always does. This too shall pass. Whatever saying or whatever quote that works best for you that will help you to remind yourself that you're in a phase of life right now where you're trying to figure it out. And figuring it out is not easy. It's painful sometimes. But as long as you know that I am in this phase and I'm trying to figure it out, and I will, and take it day by day, then transitions, whether you're going through divorce, whether you're grieving the loss of someone, whether you're changing jobs, whether it's a good transition or a bad transition, change is hard. Transitions are hard. And so when we go through them, we have to be able to learn how to give ourselves the things that we need to feel loved and supported. That way we can gently go through this process. It's important to remind yourself that even though you want the sunny day, the sun will come out once the clouds go away. And so first the clouds, then the rain, then the sun. So be with yourself during this time. Find the support that you need in order to help yourself during these transitions, but also make sure that you're practicing self-parenting and making sure that you're practicing how to actually really calm yourself down and love yourself and give yourself compassion and grace during this time. Now let's talk about being bored, because being bored is a serious thing. If you're unmotivated in life and life is just kind of like a series of every day the same thing is happening or nothing really amazing is happening in my life right now, then it's important to understand what's missing from your life and what do you need to incorporate more of in your life in order for it to feel like it's progressing. When we're not progressing and we're just kind of standing still, that doesn't feel good. We have to be able to find a balance between let me stand still and make sure that I'm moving myself forward. Now, what's missing from your life is not, it doesn't have to be this huge rebuilding phase where it's like, oh my God, I'm going to tackle every area of life and I'm going to rebuild everything and completely start from scratch. It could be like the littlest of things that can really just start to add up to make a really big difference in your life. So what's missing from your life could be really huge goals, but I honestly really think that 90% of the time it's just the little things that you're doing or not doing every single day that are having the biggest impact on your mood and how it is that you feel and where your life is right now. During transitions and changes in life, your confidence needs to be built up again. And that's why understanding what's really missing from your life and taking that step back and examining like, okay, what are the goals that I want to set for myself? Big goals and little goals. What are the things that are missing from my day-to-day life? And again, this doesn't have to be, I'm going to go start a business and try to make $1 million. This is just like the little things that I need to incorporate in my day every single day that will make me feel better, that will soothe me, that will give me the feelings that I want to feel, no matter what it is. So whatever just like starts coming up to the surface are the things that you really have to push yourself to give yourself every single day. I tell people all the time, a huge part of mental health is feeding your mind. It's a huge, huge factor because not every day are you going to be strong enough, motivated enough to be able to tackle this and override stories. It's very easy for weeds to grow. It doesn't take any work at all. They just come up, they grow, and guess what? The more you do water them or feed them, the more that they will grow. You know what I mean? Like that is how it actually will work. But they can just grow on their own. They don't need you to plant anything or do anything. So it's important to understand that when you're in these phases of life and your confidence is low and life's kind of blah and you don't know what to do next, just trying anything will force you to learn how to parent yourself. It will force you to give yourself some level of confidence because you have to be able to be your own cheerleader when you're setting any goals, whether it's the little ones or the big ones. And if you're setting the little ones and you're shaming yourself or you're making yourself feel bad or you feel like it's like the stupidest, littlest thing and it's not anything to celebrate at all, again, you're not being... First of all, you would never do that to a total stranger, but you're not being the person that you need to be in order to kind of like rise above all of this. Let's talk about setting goals. Setting goals is a skill. It's something that you have to learn how to do. People think that you can just set goals and achieve them. And there are going to be some goals in life that you could set and you could easily achieve them. And then there are going to be other things where it's not going to be as difficult. And really that's where the fears are, the wounds are, the insecurities are. And this is where you really have to like kind of dig deep and break down goal setting so it can actually be an achievable thing. And you can work through some of the worries, stresses, fears, anxieties that you have about this goal that you're looking to set for yourself. So there's two reasons why kind of goals never really come to fruition, either because the goal itself scares you so much, so it's kind of like the fear of failure that you never even start at all, or you could start something, but you never really fully see it through. And again, this could be fear of failure or it could be fear of success, but it's the little things that you're not doing while you're trying to actually attain this goal that are setting you back. So you have the motivation, like you know you can actually do something, but in the middle of it, in the middle of actually doing those little steps, this is where you kind of like fall off. And the falling off has everything to do with your self-talk and how you're parenting yourself. Now, when we're talking about funks, I would say one of the biggest things, aside from feeding your mind, aside from goal setting, no matter whether it's big or small goals, is going to be movement. You have to move around. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what your exercise routine looks like. We're not talking about like physical exercise 7 days a week, going to the gym for 2 hours and lifting weights, but I am talking about physically moving your body. Because guess what? If you don't move, nothing changes. If you don't move, you stay exactly where you are. And your physical body and just your endorphins and how you feel every single day have a huge effect on your mental health. Just being able to be outside, just being able to like move your arms and exert yourself in some way is very, very important towards you feeling motivated, for you to start creating some endorphins that will then help you to like want to set a goal, to want to do something. And again, remember, goal setting is really about the little things. It's not always about these big, huge goals that we set for ourselves. It's just I'm just going to take a walk around the block today. That's it. And being able to celebrate that. If you can do those things consistently, you will get out of a funk in 2 seconds. But you can't be afraid to try something either. And that's another huge part of being in these transitions in life and not knowing what's next and not knowing what to do is, look, you got to just do anything. Anything that you think you want to try or you think might work, try it. So I hope this video has helped you if you're going through a transition, if you're going through a change in life. I know it's difficult. I know it's painful. I've been there. We've all been there. Let's just keep it real. So comment down below if you yourself are going through any kind of transition and what that transition is and what you've done that's actually helped you. I think it's great to obviously give each other just insight and things that have worked, and hopefully someone else can use that and it'll apply for them and we can all help each other. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.